Welcome ladies and gentlemen to a brand new video about Magic Legends. I had the chance to play this during closed alpha and I'm looking forward to be playing the open beta March 23rd. You also might be looking at this video in the future, so this part of the video is irrelevant to you. Nevertheless, everything that I will tell you will be relevant to open beta and most likely the full game as well. That being said, I want to ask you up front that if you like the content in this video to leave a like, and if you happen to dislike the video, please tell me why in the comments so I can work on my flaws. If you did like the video, consider subscribing, as I will venture into this game further down the road. So without further ado, let's deep dive into the content. Magic Legends is a massive multiplayer online isometric action role-playing game. That's a mouthful, so let's just call it an MMO or an ARPG. If you're a Blizzard fan, this game will be a combination of what World of Warcraft does, you know, with the quests and storyline and stuff, but based in the Magic the Gathering multiverse. And it makes use of the isometric camera that we know and love from the Diablo games. Hardcore RPG fans amongst ourselves will most likely compare this to an online Divinity Original Sin or some sorts, but that's just the gist of it. This game will be an always online platform with a top-down view. What's the most important thing in games? Big anime titties. Gameplay and combat, of course. Now, this game can be played on PC with mouse and keyboard or with a controller. From experience, controller is more fun, but that's a personal decision. On controller, your face buttons will be the spells that you cast on their respective locations, and your triggers and bumpers will have additional spells or uses. On keyboard, you can do whatever the hell you want. Do you want your spells on A, N, U, and S? That's perfectly fine. Just don't get carpal tunnel. It's a Magic the Gathering game, so you will need to create decks.
But Glitchy, how can we play cards in an action RPG?
Well, it's really quite simple. In your inventory, whenever it's unlocked, you will find many cards from many different colors. 5 colors to be exact, but more on those colors later. Cards can be creatures, sorceries, or enchantments. You can pick these cards and put them in a deck that has a 12 card capacity. For now, maybe future viewers can tell us otherwise, decks can mix and match 2 different colors. I am hoping for mixing all colors at some point, but I digress. You search your inventory for spells you like and place them in your deck. While there is a limit on the number of cards in your deck, there is also a limit on creature cards in your deck. Well, not cards per se, but creature points. Each creature has a point allocation. If it's worth 1 creature point, you can stack 12 of those, but they would be weaker. Some creatures have 2 points, others 3 or more points, so you'll have to check the creature points before adding them to your deck. Spells and enchantments do not have limits except the limit of your deck. The way your deck works in game is then based on a factor of the real-life Magic game: luck. The 4 spells that are always available will rotate between the cards in your 12-card deck. At some point, the spell you're waiting for might take a while to appear or reappear after use. So make sure you build your deck in such a fashion that every spell will work to your advantage. As in any RPG, there are classes you can choose whenever you start. In most games, you select a class and you need to play the whole game as that specific character and class. If you want a different class, you will need to create a whole new character. Well, not in Magic Legends. You can create your character and select your starting class. You can switch your class whenever you unlock the subsequent one. Again, up to 5 classes, 1 for every color. Of course, again, like in any RPG, there's character customization. At the time of recording, this might be subject to change. Your first class choice has a locked-in character. Once you can visit a tailor in any hub area, you can start customizing your character. Want to be a woman? Sure. Want to have a beard again? No problem. No need to create yet another character if you suddenly crave anime taste. You can change your costume to a piece from a different class. This might also be subject to transmog. You can change your body type, skin type, and face type. When it comes to customizing your face, you can change the eye color, hairstyling color, and facial hair. Sadly, there are no sliders to adjust the volume of your breath to adjust the characters even further, but the default choices and the fact that you can customize at will are good enough. Your classes can be switched as I said earlier, but that doesn't mean your deck needs to change as well. You can be a Geomancer but rock a white and black deck. You can be a Mind Mage and rock a red and green deck. Those color combinations have actual names, but I will have a video on that at a later point. Subscribe if you're interested in that so you won't miss it. There's so much freedom in this game that it's hard to make a mistake in the early parts of the game, as you can change everything on the fly. How can a game be an MMO if there wasn't any gear items, right? You will be able to gear up to 6 pieces: a helmet, chest piece, boots, gauntlets, and 2 rings. Each of those have a stat increasing ability, of course, but since every game needs a unique twist, the gear pieces have a little something extra. They all have a swap capability, which means that whenever you level up a gear piece, they get a 2nd or 3rd stat available. Then you can swap into those. Say that your boots have extra crowd control, and the second stat gives you extra intelligence or something. You can swap into that intelligence if your deck does not use crowd control anymore. Vice versa as well, of course. It's an amazing feature and well thought out. The things that you can put on your character keep on coming, right? Next to your deck and your gear, you can also equip artifacts. There are up to 3 kinds of artifacts to equip: lesser artifacts, greater artifacts, or legendary artifacts. I'd have rather seen something like uncommon, rare, and mythic, but I digress again. Of the lesser, you can equip up to 3 artifacts. Of the greater, you can equip 2 artifacts, and of the legendary, you can only equip 1. Like your gear, the lesser artifacts will more or less increase your stats in ways, but the greater and legendary artifacts are most likely based on triggers. This means that something can happen whenever you cast a spell, or whenever an enemy is in a specific state, or buffs your creatures whenever something happens. This layer adds a whole new perspective of building your character into a specific type of planeswalker. Currently, there are 3 locations where you can roam and do some quests. These locations are vast and well worth exploring. Apart from these 3 locations are 2 more. One is called the Sanctum, which is like the hub world. Everyone can gather here, party up, shop, etc. It's like Orgrimmar or Stormwind for you WoW fans out there. The other one is your realm. You can go study up in here on yourself. It's basically your home. There's a lot to do, so you won't run out of things to do easily. I'm going to make another Diablo reference just because I can, but you can choose your difficulty levels when starting a mission as well. These difficulties are normal, hard, expert, and master. These difficulties are unlocked through milestones. Whenever choosing these difficulties, the game will tell you a recommended loadout score and whatever is increased in this level. Of course, this all comes with a better outcome when it comes to rewards, so it's always better to take on the harder difficulties whenever you can. The harder difficulties come with a regional enchantment. To my Genshin Impact fanatics out there, you can compare this to a leyline disorder. It is an enchantment that changes a particular thing in the overworld you're fighting in and will provide a buff or debuff to the enemies, or a buff or debuff to a type of spell. I'm telling you, this game is going to be amazing. And that will be it, for now at least. Everything you need to know about Magic Legends if you wish to start the game. I hope I could have been a helpful guide in your way across the different planes of Magic the Gathering, and I do hope to see you guys in Tazim or Dominaria. Another reminder to hit the like button if it was helpful, and if you were to dislike it, please tell me why so I can work on it. Subscribe to the channel for more Magic Legends content coming up. This was Galaxy Brinklichi. Have a good one.
Well, let's not break out the joy loom just yet. Draw.